Whew, this one was wow. All right, let me get into it. Deante Hitchcock just dropped one of the most vulnerable albums I've heard in a long time. He's another Atlanta rapper, always in the mix, and he has brought something to the table that he's always kind of steered on this side, but I personally don't feel like he's completely driven off the road in a sense, right? This one was the drive off the road. Let me explain. So he moves beyond the lyrical exercise, right? I think if anybody knows Deante Hitchcock, you know that he got bars on top of bars. To me, he's one of the best writers. And that phase of his career, even though it may still be there, not as in the front seat on this one, right? It's so much more. So think about it like this. Like if his previous work was an introduction to his skill and his pen, like as far as like lyricals, this project is a meditation on his humanity, straight up. Junkie in the Sun, right? Let's just start with the title. This was a 15-track odyssey, kind of feels like. It's an honest conversation with yourself, and it holds on to that. You know, imagine like you just sitting on the porch, you just having a conversation with yourself about life, just about life. And, you know, it's primarily produced by, shout out to Brandon Taylor. You know, they work together a lot. I notice that a lot of rappers in the Atlanta area, they link up in a producer and they just stay there. You know, again, Michael Aristotle, Willie Hendricks, and then you got Deontay here linking up with Brandon Taylor. So the sonic palette for this is warm. It's very soul drenched, extremely soul drenched, and it's unapologetically him. You know, it has touches of, like, to me, like jazz, percussion, and it's just like the velvet kind of like velvet dusted samples, you know, and that's like the production side, but it literally paints the canvas for what he's about to do. Philosophically, the album it centers around the sun, right? To put it kind of plain, it centers around the sun as this impartial observer. What I mean by that is, as Deontay is talking about, you know, everything throughout the record, he's talking about the sun shines on the newborn and the junkie. Like, we're all the same. At the end of the day, the sun bears no type of judgment. There's no shame here, right? And it's bold, it's high stakes. It's a high stakes interrogation of the junkie within all of us. And it doesn't necessarily mean about drugs, right? It could be just our vices in general and the things we crave, and, you know, we stay numb to them, and they also like somewhat make us feel alive. So this isn't just an album. This is a manual for surviving the modern world, you know, and keeping your soul intact. That's the best way I could describe it. So, you know, I had a couple of standout tracks I wanted to kind of just briefly touch on, but the whole album is incredible. This is a complete album by far. So, you know, you have, of course, My Green Eyes, Samara Sin, on the feature. This is just a masterclass right here. Atmospheric vulnerability. They're both going in about just the intoxications of attraction, right? And maybe a hint of jealousy a little bit, because you know, like when we talk about like jealousy, I mean like our family members and how we grew up versus how they grew up. Maybe just a touch. Maybe I'm putting too much on it, but, you know, they create this haunting, like conscious, you know, hazy late night type vibe, you feel me? Like they're just like the anchors of the emotional core of this album. It's good. And, you know, I love the intro track because it really kind of just paints this whole picture of what kind of the battle, right? I'll say the emotional battle. So Junkie in the Sun, the intro track is incredible. Almost There is one of my favorites. You know, this is the heart of the album struggle. You know, it captures the like agonizing in between state of life that we all sometimes, most of us, find ourselves in. You know, the feeling of being on the verge of greatness while still dealing with the like mundane stressors of, like, you know, just different life problems, IRS, dealing with family, whatever the case. And there's like a split voice performance going on right here that ends pretty tragic, I'll let you listen to that one to see what I'm talking about. But wow, the battle within the self. Strong one. This is a powerful track, and another great concept track, which lets me get into my next one, The Cycle. Wow, this is probably one of the best conceptual songs I've heard in a long time. So you have the cinematic approach here. You have kind of Think Like I Gave You Power. That's one of my favorites. If you listen to my channel, I love I Gave You Power. And he's narrating the tragedy between two perspectives, the victim and the shooter. You feel me? And he does it well. He does it well because you're like, wait a minute, hold on 1 second. And both like the same existential like crisis, and you're just hearing perspectives. Did he die? Did I die? Like that kind of stuff, and it's grim, but it's philosophical at the same time. It's a look at generational trauma, whether it's like, finding closure or, it could be a lot of different things, but Deontay definitely hones in on being the most observant person in the room on this one. It's wow, what an incredible track. What an incredible track. Vince Staples does an incredible job at those as well. So the equality under the sun and soaring, it's like a soaring gospel type piece, and really sets the stage all these other tracks to live. Kind of just breaking down the album in a whole and kind of just taking it from there. Like Deontay, I'm going to go on a limb, and he's had some very deep work, but I'm going to go on a limb and say this is probably my favorite project for him. He has some really good ones, so that might change tomorrow, but unequivocally, yeah, I think this is my favorite one because it's one of your favorites when you keep telling people about it. You got to listen to this track. You got to listen to this track. Tap in on this one. Talking to God. 1, 2, they showed that flash of vulnerability, but this one, and like the brilliance of it, this is the first time I feel like his lyrical ability, right? Because he's really good at doing it, but his vulnerability and like lyrical technical skill and his humanity are like, you feel me? Like it's, man, wow. We all know he could spit. He don't have, this one's not a look what I can do type energy. And I appreciate that because he might be, that's growth. You feel me? So this is less of a look what I can do project. And this is more of a look who I am project, and that's important. That's important. So try to think about that when you're listening to this project. The growth here isn't just musical. It's a spiritual feeling. He's moved, at least on this project, he kind of moved away from the rapper who tells tells stories, right? He's more like a philosopher who happens to be rapping. He's talking about some very deep things on this one. I don't even know if he realizes how much of a connection he's about to form with a lot of people doing this. He navigates the warm kind of like mess of life in a deadpan type way and a heavy heart, really just pouring it all out, man. He's a father now, so I'm sure it has a lot to do with it too, but it's like proving in this landscape that we're in right now of hip hop music that honesty is the most experimental sound you can produce by far. So I'm gonna play one of the songs that I really liked. I'm gonna get into it right now. Almost There. And man, so tap into this project. It's incredible. Great project.
Quitting is an option. Quitting is an option. Quitting is an option. So give up. Yeah.
I want to stop real quick because I like the intro. Quitting is an option. Quitting is an option. You're kind of taken back by that because we're always told, quitting is not an option and all that. But the despair of the track that's about to start.
It's 11:10, I close my eyes. Wait a minute, make a wish. God show me that there's more to life than this. This can't be it. I be happy in the moment right now if I up and quit, but later on I'm gonna be sick. So in my head I'm saying this, nigga, you can't give up now. Can't give up now. You almost there. You almost there. Can't give up. Get it right.
Notice that, you can't give up now. You can't give up now. It's hopefulness, right? Wow. And this track changes a lot. Still with the hopefulness, but if you notice, there's a lot more depth in what he's saying, and the struggle is getting a little a little more overwhelming.
Like I could end it all. Phone full of contacts, no friends to call. I think my legs is finally tired of standing tall. Problems piling, 7 pounds of pressure, all my problems solved. Don't want no mural, but do think my thoughts will look cooler on this wall. Eyes dry, wanna cry a tear, but they too hard to fall. Maybe I really talk to God. Know if I pull this trigger, it ain't no coming back from that. Catch a glimpse of me in the mirror like.
That's songwriting. That's songwriting right there. Definitely check out Junkie in the Sun. And be ready. Shout out to Deontay for this one, man. You dropped the gem, for real. So appreciate again everybody subscribing to the channel. If you got an album that you want me to review or visit your album yourself, tap in. But yeah, Junkie in the Sun, Deante Hitchcock, it's one of them. You're a little different on this one, so be prepared. But you know what it is? For all we know, we out.